The Vietnam War was the longest-lasting war in the United States of America history. The Vietnam War lasted for 21 years, from 1954 to 1975. What caused this war, you may be thinking? In South Vietnam, people were democratic, while people in North Vietnam were communists. This created a large conflict. The North Vietnamese people desired unity between North and South Vietnam through communism spreading to South Vietnam. The U.S. feared communism would start a domino effect in other countries if South Vietnam became communist, so the U.S. decided to support them in stopping communism spread to South Vietnam. The U.S. gave South Vietnam the resources to fight off North Vietnam. One of the many soldiers that helped defend South Vietnam was John Michael Andescavage.
Andescavage was different than the other soldiers fighting in Vietnam, however. While the average age for a soldier in Vietnam was 23 years old, Andescavage was only 18 years old when he enlisted in the Army.
On February 5, 1949, Andescavage, a skilled soldier of the U.S. Army, was born. As he grew older, he was under influence of many people in the U.S. being drafted left and right to serve the U.S. in Vietnam. Andescavage enlisted in the U.S. Army at age 18 in 1967. According to ushistory.org, in the year Andescavage joined the military, Americans were passing away at a rate of 100 people per week. The transition from being home to the military was not extremely hard for him. However, dealing with being away from home as time progressed was a bit more challenging.
You miss all the things you like. Everything's strange, so you have to account for that.
Andescavage chose the important job of being a combat photographer for the U.S. Army during Vietnam. A combat photographer has the job of capturing the moments that occurred during the war. Whether it's a certain battle or attack, a combat photographer will document the event through videos and photos. An average day in Vietnam for him consisted of waking up, putting on clothes that were often damp. Some days he would go with a unit, and other days he would stay at his base.
When Andescavage was with the unit, he was often scared because he never knew what could happen. However, Andescavage enjoyed the freedom of being able to go wherever he wanted. One day he could be traveling through the north and another day in the south. However, during his active duties, Andescavage was often concerned or scared because the soldiers never knew what would happen to them next. Often people tried to predict what would happen, but they were never able to tell. Andescavage left Vietnam in 1970 after serving our country for 14 long months. Rejoining the military was not a thought that occurred to Andescavage after serving in Vietnam. 3 years after Andescavage left, a ceasefire was reached, and the troops remaining in combat were withdrawn. President Richard Nixon called this agreement peace with honor.